Syllables and rhythm. When we talk, whether you know it or not, you're talking in a rhythm. The way you slow your voice down at the really important parts, or you speed yourself up and just try to get through some of those details. Some of the details you might already know, and some of the details that you can always go back and kind of think about, but they're not details that you need to know right away. But when you slow yourself down, you want people to really listen. This is called rhythm. In poetry, it's no different. We like to think of poetry as an art form of words where we can get deep into our thoughts and share those thoughts with other people and get people thinking and relating your words to their lives. All these things are true of poetry. But there's a rhythm that's a part of this equation as well. How quickly do you want your poem read? You can determine the pacing of your poem with the words and rhythm that you choose, very deliberately choose. So let's take a look at syllables and rhythm in poetry. There are 4 different types. Each one is called a foot. And these are basically just pairings or triplets of a certain pattern that we see. So our first pattern that I want to take a look at is called iambic. Iambic foot. Now, an iamb is basically the pattern, and we always write these in parentheses, so this is how you're going to see the pattern. We'll just call this a U, and this a slash. That's the pattern. Well, what do these mean? The U, kind of easy to understand, is simply an unstressed syllable in a word in your poem. And as you can imagine, the slash is a stressed syllable. Now, when we talk stressed and unstressed, are we talking about unstressed syllables are sitting on a beach in a lawn chair with the sun just blazing down upon them, relaxing? They've had a long work year so far, and they're just taking a vacation. No, unfortunately not, although that does sound pretty good. What we're talking about here with unstressed and stressed syllables is simply what parts of the word, or syllables, what parts of the word are you giving emphasis to? What parts of the word are you giving emphasis to? Let's take a look. When we take the word today, today, and you can use the clapping method to find the syllables if you ever have a big word that you just don't understand, you're having trouble finding the syllables. It's not always so clear cut and dry. Use the technique of clapping. Every time you stop in a word, clap. Today. Today. Today has 2 syllables. Now, how do we say that? Today. That's usually how people say it. Today. Do you hear how the second syllable of day, my voice actually rises? Today. Today. That means that the first syllable of to, is an unstressed. I did not put emphasis on to. Today. I put the emphasis on day. So this is how you, a poet, would label this word. Unstressed, stressed. Today is part of the iambic foot. Look at one more. Apart. Apart. You never say apart. Something is taken apart. You say apart. You barely even mention, you barely utter the syllable apart. Okay? But this is the syllable that you mostly hear. So that is the stressed syllable. And of course, if you barely mention the A syllable, that would mean this would be unstressed. You may need to watch this video a couple times to really get the idea. Let's take a look at the next one. This is number 2. Big words, not too hard. Trochaic. Trochaic. Okay? And if you look at a trochaic pattern, it's basically the opposite. Instead of unstressed, stressed, you have stressed, unstressed. It's just the opposite of an iamb. That's all. So let's take a look at a couple of these words here. Pretty. Pretty. If you hear, you can say this out loud as well, but if you hear me say it, pretty, I start off stressing that word, don't I? And there's our 2 syllables. So the P-R-E-T, pretty, that of course is stressed. And you'll see it follows the pattern here. Pretty, I go down on the T. So that syllable would be unstressed. Take a look at one more. Sunny. Sunny. The word sunny kind of makes you feel bright and happy. The word fits the way we say it. Like the definition, the meaning behind the word actually fits with the way we say it. Sunny. We start off stressing it. We're happy, we're excited, we're jubilant. Sunny. Here's our 2 syllables. And of course, sunny, stressed. I go down on the knee at the end, unstressed. It follows our trochaic foot pattern. I'll say it again, you may need to watch this a few times to really kind of understand the trochaic, the iamb, and the 2 others that we have to talk about. Anapestic. Anapestic. Big word, not too difficult to understand what it is once you do a little bit of practice. You notice my parentheses are a little bit farther apart on this one. This is our 3rd foot. Anapestic. Unstressed, unstressed, stressed. The only difference between an anapestic foot and an iamb is the anapestic has another unstressed syllable at the beginning. If you remember back here, an iamb is an unstressed, stressed. Anapestic is unstressed, unstressed, stressed. Let's take a look at a couple words. Understand. 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 You don't really stress, not all the time anyway. You can say understand or understand. But really in everyday language, we don't stress the word under, both syllables of the word under. Not in the word understand. When we ask a question, it's not understand, it's understand. Yes, we're really breaking down the word, and it seems like, wow, that is very close, Mr. LaRosa. How can you honestly make a case? Well, it's all in how you say it in everyday language. And yes, we say things in different ways. But in poetry, you dictate how your poem is paced, how quickly you read, and how it sounds with the words that you choose. So the word understand is often read as that. Understand? I don't understand this. Let's take a look. Under and stand. are 3 syllables. Understand. That is an anapestic foot. Take a look at one more here. Going to kind of squeeze it in. Disagree. Disagree. Now some of you may disagree with the way that these words are spoken, and that's okay. If you can make a case for why the word that you choose, when it fits into your poem, should be a different foot, then you can make a case for it. But these are just examples as to what an anapestic foot is and what the next one's going to be as well. So disagree, disagree, there's your 3 syllables, just like understand, disagree. There you have it. There's an anapestic foot. And I'm sorry, just to be a little clear about that one, put it over the A. All right, I'll say it again. Might need to take a look at this a few times. One more to go. Hang in there. Dactylic. Dactylic. Now, when we look at a dactylic, if the anapestic and the iambic feet look similar to each other, just similar, they have a relationship there, the dactylic looks similar to the trochaic. Take a look at that pattern. What do you think the dactylic pattern will look like? Maybe not what you thought. Maybe what you thought. But you're just flipping them. Just like the iamb and the iambic and the trochaic, you flip. The anapestic and the dactylic, you flip. Let's take a look at a couple words here. Elephant. You don't say elephant or elephant. You don't say that. Look at what you're stressing. Elephant. Elephant. Your voice is going down as you say that word. It starts high and it goes down the last 2 syllables. So you stress, unstress, unstress. Elephant. Syllable. Same thing. Syllable. 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 And that is the dactylic foot. So you have dactylic foot, which is stressed, unstressed, unstressed. Anapestic foot, which is unstressed, unstressed, stressed. Trochaic foot, stressed, unstressed. And the iambic foot, unstressed, stressed. And that is an introduction to syllables and rhythm in poetry.